Hello and welcome. Thank you everyone for showing up on time today. We do appreciate it. Today we are going to be kind of showcasing a webinar for you on how to manage your inventory better, so that way you have a clear view of what's going on in your warehouse and what's coming in and out. And hopefully we can help you guys get a more clear picture on everything that's going on in your warehouse. So next slide, Chris. All right, so before we get into it, I'll just introduce us. Today we have Chris, who is our senior consultant for our NetSuite practice. He's waving at you right now. He's got a ton of experience as far as NetSuite is concerned, with logistics, integrations, and then also e-commerce. And then myself, Nick, I'm the sales manager here at Alphabol, and I'm going to be kind of running the back end of the webinar. So if you have any questions, I'll be back there to either answer them or present them to Chris so we can get some answers for you right away. Next slide, please.
So please keep Nick busy with questions.
Try to stump me. Well, he'll easily stump me. I don't know anything. Try to stump Chris. So a little bit about who we are as Alphabol. Today we're going to be kind of focused more on the NetSuite side of things. We do everything from implementations, customizations, configurations, and licensing for NetSuite. But we also have a Microsoft practice here as well. We actually just got a Partner of the Year award for our Dynamics customer service practice, which we're very proud about. We also do BI, DevOps, QA, as well as AI and IoT. So we try to be a full solution provider for our clients. And then what we do, we actually do ad hoc consulting, so like break fix type stuff. We do development and integration, so that way you can have a holistic system. And then we do optimization and solution optimization. Differences being optimization, we work with our clients on their actual business processes to make sure they're efficient. And then we also work with the solutions that they have to make sure those match those efficiencies within their business processes. And then how we do it, what we do is we work with our clients to make sure we understand their goals, and we've created a blueprint on how to achieve those goals and give visibility throughout the entire process and build that trust, because our client success is our success. We have our orchestrate phase. That's where we just get everything done. Then we do a lead and deliver phases. Lead, we do a train the trainer model. So we want our clients to take ownership and be able to manage their solutions as best as possible. And then we really pride ourselves on our post-go live support. So we want to be a long-term partner, and we want to have that relationship there to make sure you guys are successful with the solutions that we've provided. So next slide.
So really, Nick, I just want to throw in there that, this is all for new customers or existing customers on NetSuite, whether you're just adding in or looking around or whatever. We can jump in anywhere in the process, but we're here to support you all the way through and after.
Yes. So a little bit about industries we serve. It's a whole bunch of them. We go across the whole board with everything. But what we like to do is, because we have those experiences within all those industries, we like to take what works from those multiple industries and try to apply them to your industry and make sure we can get the best solution and most efficient processes in line. And again, make you guys successful. So that wraps up a little bit about who we are as Alphabol. I think the next slide is kind of what we'll be going over today. So whether you're using NetSuite, whether you're looking at NetSuite, or you have a different ERP system, what we want to show you is how you can better manage your inventory through segmentation, then reporting, so making sure you have accurate and clear reports so that way you know what's going on, as well as managing multiple warehouses, because it's very, very, very often that you have multiple warehouses, whether it be one physical location and or multiple locations. So being able to manage those is very important. And then also diving into a WMS system or warehouse management system to make sure you're efficiently operating within your own warehouse. And then at the end, we'll kind of discuss why and how we can help you. And from there, see if we can partner up or maybe showcase to you guys on a more personal level how we can help your business out. I believe that's about it for me as of right now. So I'll quit my jaw wagging. Again, if you guys have any questions going into this or throughout, please put them in the questions box. We'll answer those as they come in. And if we can't, then we'll reach out to you afterwards to get some answers for you. So Chris, I think you're up next. But before we do jump into it, Chris, let me pause you real quick. If you have been a part of these webinars, you know I love polls and I want to launch a poll right out the gate because we are kind of focusing more on the NetSuite side of things. I'd like to get a view of who is using NetSuite as right now. So launching a quick poll just to see if anybody here is already using NetSuite. If you do and you're just looking to enhance it and better your processes, not yet, but you're interested in it, or nope, you're just seeing what's out there and what best practices are. So we'd love to get your responses. And we got quite a few people actually already using NetSuite. That's great. And then we have in second place, nope, just seeing what's out there. So thank you for stopping by, and hopefully we can showcase some useful ways of managing your inventory. So I'm going to leave this up for, what's that?
We'll talk you off the ledge. We'll help you out.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for your votes. We do appreciate it, and it does help us generate some more insightful webinars in the future. So, Chris, I'll put it in your hands now.
All right. So today, one of the first things we're going to talk about here is how we can improve our reporting accuracy and effectiveness. And really the way we do that is through segmentation. Segmentation is kind of a scary word to a lot of people. A lot of people also say, hey, I already segment things. But really, NetSuite is a very powerful tool and also a very easy tool to use from a user perspective. So there's a lot of stuff where we can just go through and look at how you, the average user, can do it, or also without necessarily needing someone like us to constantly do or look over your shoulder, but we can also set you up on the right path or any, kind of version of that. So the first thing we're going to look at is really challenges that are faced when you're trying to set up dynamic and effective reporting. First, we have to look at how to set everything up so that when we implement your solution, we bring everything together. So it's not just disparate systems, everything's together. We will be looking at how to improve everything with bringing in a WMS as well. Again, things like segmentation will allow us to really slice and dice things, and we'll go through a couple different how-tos and just what this can mean for you. But really what this allows you to do is see what you're looking for. And by that, I mean, it's kind of like looking at it in the 10,000 or the 30,000 foot level, but we can also delve down into the, ground level really quickly with this. And we'll also look at how in extending your systems with tools that will tie other systems together and also take your system to the next level with some offerings that we have. And the way that we do this is with the NetSuite ecosystem. Now, we call this an ecosystem because it's not only NetSuite. In a lot of cases, people are like, well, I have NetSuite, but then I also have this and I also have that. The good news is, whether you already have NetSuite or you're looking at bringing NetSuite in and looking at all the other systems you may have, we'll be able to tie all those together. So, and what this allows us to do is bring all the data into NetSuite in real time for the most part, and then allow you to look at things and not have a delay or a lag or wait for an import or whatever. Again, the middle part here, the kind of the cornerstone of this is being able to segment our data and slice and dice things. And then also the seamless integration. And what that allows us to do is give our product managers, our purchasing people, our supply chain managers, it allows them to get a complete picture of everything or zero in on things and really be able to look at things in real time, as opposed to everyone's most favorite and hated thing, spreadsheets, spreadsheets, and spreadsheets. So in a proposed solution, what this will just give us, it'll give us data empowerment. It gives the user, the end user, and you guys, really the company, the opportunity to take the data and actually use it, or not have it sit in the system somewhere and have you not be able to pull it out. One of our goals is really the way we operate. We don't just write reports for you. We teach you how to operate and write reports and slice and dice things so that you can do this on your own. Again, this will give us improved visibility. We can actually see everything we're looking at. And again, we're actually making decisions in real time, so that things are not, we're not looking at 6 months ago, we're not looking at whatever, we're looking at data as it is up to the minute and whatnot. So how we do this, we're going to look at our company here. This is a emerging fitness and apparel company with a D2C presence and also a strong distribution presence across wholesale channels, big box, and what's around the world. So this company has a lot of things coming in. For those of you kind of maybe fall into this category, you're on QuickBooks, or you're on some other system, or you're on a product that's being aged out, like with some of the older Microsoft products or whatever. And again, they're actually still using a fax machine. It's a weird sound when you walk into their office and hear it, but some people still have it. They were advanced enough to be using Shopify for their e-commerce. And of course, there were spreadsheets, and more spreadsheets. And then this guy has a spreadsheet for this, the warehouse has a spreadsheet for that. When you need information, you got to go see the other guy who has his own spreadsheet, but it's not up to date, so you got to see the other guy to see the other guy to get a spreadsheet. So that was our previous situation. Now we're moving into what we've recommended and we've put in for them. They're now running the NetSuite ERP ecosystem. They are using Celigo to bring in their API connections. They're bringing in information from Shopify. They're bringing in information from Amazon. They are also using it to send the information back, which those of you who sell on Amazon know that, like, there's the shipping deadlines and all of that. So they're using RF Smart for the WMS, and again, they're using Shopify for their e-commerce solution. And then as a result of all of this, we have our segmented data. And again, this is all operating within the NetSuite ecosystem, all interconnected and operating in, let's say, near real time. So when their vendors kick over and send over POs or whatever, we get them, or sorry, their customers. Then also what we have within NetSuite, we've turned on certain features or modules that allow us to more effectively manage things. Through our segmentation, which we're going to look at here, we've been able to do targeted cycle counts, where not only are we utilizing things like date and time, or count intervals to focus in on how long it's been since something was counted, we're using the data segmentation to focus in on certain pieces, so that we know that if a sale is coming up on a certain type of product, we can go in and just cycle count those items. Or if we're doing a big reorder, we're going to go ahead and count those as well. Our product reporting is therefore brought up a couple notches because of all of this. And then also we've started using the supply channel allocation through NetSuite. What this allows us to do is take certain product in inventory levels and segment them off again into, hey, this wholesale channel gets this much, we're going to keep this much for our D2C channel, and we're going to keep this much for our wholesale channel. Again, what this allows us to do is not only predict how we're going to sell something or how much we're going to sell, but it also predicts what margin we're going to sell it at. So we may have a margin requirement to sell X amount of product at a D2C level. So we can do that and achieve our margin for whatever our goals are. Another thing that we utilize with this customer is inbound shipments. And inbound shipments, what this allows us to do is allows us to have a container management program per se, and allows us to track containers, not in real time on, with some of the web apps that are out there, but it allows us to take this data and share it with everybody within the organization. Again, in NetSuite, we can make a dashboard for it. We can put it on somebody's screen. We can put a shortcut, as opposed to someone having to log in and go somewhere else. And then again, we've implemented the MRP system, which is the demand planning version 2.0, if you will, for NetSuite. So there's a lot of enhancements coming out for that every release. So that helps out there. So now we're going to kind of jump into things and take a quick look at kind of what we've done and how we've done it. So what we have here is, this is just a kind of stock form from NetSuite that we have. You can see you have certain generic fields that have been in here, such as accessories, watches. Now, this is one form of segmentation that's been allowed through NetSuite in the past, but one of the things that it does is it's very one-dimensional. You can get into seeing certain things here, but the parent-child relationships aren't necessarily great. There's things like that that you can't go through. So what we've done is expanded this to more of a next level version by doing by adding fields and also customizing this form. And again, this is another one of those things that you can do in NetSuite very easily. It's very quick and simple for the most part. I can move stuff around if we want to or whatnot. And realistically, this doesn't take hours and days of coding like it might in other either systems or ERPs. So what we've done here is we're going to look at this particular item, and what it does is this item we sell, it is under our category here of well-being, and it's then under self-care. We have a category where, not only do you have to work out and look good, you got to look good and feel good afterwards. So there's a little bit of being able to take care of yourself as part of our company here. So one of the things that we can look at though is that these fields here are not just kind of willy-nilly. They're actually based on each other. So there is a logic behind these, and there's you can't just pick one or the other. So for example, as we change, if we were going to change this to apparel, this would then need to go under tops. And as we go under tops, this changes to jackets or shirts. Or if we change this to bottoms, this would say pants or shorts or whatever else. So this doesn't allow us to pick shorts when we're in tops or whatever else. So just by doing this, one of the things that we've done is created a little bit of that, keeping things simple, but we're also directing our end users. So, and by a series of permissions, like for example, I can come in here and I can add this because I'm currently the administrator, but let's say my product managers will not be able to add to this menu. So we can really restrict and kind of cut things down into a directed version of what we want. So we,
yeah,
as
not only does that make it simple, but I mean, it also reduces errors. I mean, instead of products being placed in the wrong category and then messing up with your reporting down the line and messing with your forecasting, this makes it very directed. And so that way you have accurate reports always, because you can't mess up essentially.
And it also, what we've also found with a lot of our customers, because again, this isn't just something we've created from scratch. This is involving talking to the stakeholders and whatnot, but this is also some of our experience. So for example, under shorts or pants, we've gone into customers areas and there's 17 versions of shorts, where there's pant, there's long pant, short pant. We've gone in and we're also going to use our experience and our industry, experience to help out with this. So
now, Chris, we did have a quick question for you. This
yeah.
reporting, is this out of the box with NetSuite, or is this something that was configured?
So this functionality is out of the box, but these fields are custom. Now, I'm going to stay away from that word a little bit, because even though NetSuite terminology, it's custom, one of the things that always comes into play is everybody hears the word custom and they go, oh no. In NetSuite, these are all built in NetSuite native functionality. So anytime there's an upgrade, anytime anything happens, these work based off the NetSuite functionality. So this is just basically custom data for your company. It's a way that we customize the data, not necessarily crazy, programming and whatever else. So to answer the question, stock feature, customized with our business knowledge and experience.
Gotcha.
So now what you might be looking at is saying, okay, great, we put some stuff in some categories and whatnot. But now we can look at how we actually use this. And one of the ways we can do this is just by looking at, again, another screen that we do in NetSuite, which is just looking at items or whatever. As we're looking at our items, we have our filters. And again, because we created these fields, we can now use these as filters. So in here, I can just go in here and see all my products at a click of a button, and I can, close it off, or I can choose to say, we have a special coming up on apparel or something along those lines. So we can come in here and look at apparel, and then we can say, you know what, again, let's look at bottoms, and we pull up that, and we look at everything that's tucked under bottoms. So we have pants, we have skirts, we have jeans, which are not assigned. So, hey, we're going to look at this and say, hey, let's fix this. So right away, when we see this, we can come in here, and right away we see this is in here. We can fix it, add it into the pants section, and we'll update this. And then come back here. Come on. It's still thinking.
So it's something that can be easily updated on the fly. So if you do find a product or a SKU that doesn't have a category to it, it's something simple, boom, get it done quick and easily update their reports.
Now, the other thing that this allows us to do, again, because this is within NetSuite, we can look at things different ways. We can sort things by name. We can sort things by our subcategory. And again, it changes. We can sub things by color. So for example, here we have things set up by our color. We can look at it like that. And one of the things that this brings up here is going to be, I'm going to jump into some of our items here, which are our strength items. And one of the things that we have here is a couple different colors. And what these colors are is we have two different colors. We have our color, which is our reporting color, and then we have our actual color. So this is where it allows you to kind of look at things two different ways. You can have your actual color, what might be a neon orange, or we have rose, we have sangria. But really, we might want to look at this and say, hey, we want to look at this and say, this is a pink, this is a red, this belongs to, let's say, a type of color or anything along those lines.
Just being able to drill down as much as possible, so that way you can get that clear picture.
Or also give us a parent overview. So
yeah.
Again, where this comes into play, we're going to put kind of the rubber to the ground here, as they say. And what we're going to have is we have a sales summary here. So as we're looking at our sales summary, we can see here that we've got things assigned to our top categories that we've set up. Then we can come in here and break it down, and we'll start to see our next category, which is we can see the next level down. And then again, if there is a separate level under that, we can see that. And again, because this is NetSuite and this is multi-faceted, we can do things like bring in, for example, another segment that we've created here, which is our channel, which is our sales channel. So I'm going to refresh this. Let's bring this again with our channel. Okay, well, so much
it's been
for
too
trying
long
to.
since you used that. Demo guys are not with you today.
So much for being prepared ahead of time. So that's what it is, but here we go. And again, this is not pre-recorded, so. All right, so now we can see, not only can we look at our sales of our categories, and again, we can collapse and break these out as we need to, but it shows us our actual categories across the top here of e-commerce, retail, big box, and are also through our call center. So we can make those go away, we can add those, but it allows us, again, separate segmentation. And one of the things that we can see again is, hey, you know, one of our top sellers here in our relaxation aids category is our wine glass, because as a balanced part of our workout situation here, we got to make sure that afterwards we properly hydrate here. So
I'm their #1 customer for those.
Yeah, so Nick is definitely on the volume buyer program here.
Yes.
So one of the things that we can see though is once we do away really quick and reload this report is we can pull up this report again and say, all right, this is my starting point and I changed things. But what I might want to say is, you know, I'm really curious for apparel, what colors are selling? And I can come in here, and because we have that reporting color, I can very simply come in here and add a category, which is our reporting color, and bring it in here. And I'm going to group it again on the left side. And I don't want to save over my template, so I'm just going to preview this. And what this allows us to do is look at all our apparel and then break it down again by our colors. So we have in pants, we can see that gray and green and brown sell, but also blue, green, and whatnot. This also goes down here as we get into our kettlebells and our dumbbells. We can see, hey, traditional black in the dumbbells still really sells, but when we get here into pink, it's coming up here. So one of the things that we'll get into here is we can actually see again what our items are. We can see our dumbbells, and we can see our colors and our sizes and things. So again, this allows us to get as granular or really high level as we want. So even if we just want to see across the colors, not even looking at specific things, we can go in here again and change the levels and say, okay, I don't care about the subcategories. I just want to see this. Then I can come back here and say, okay, really within apparel, these are my colors. I don't care about the sub levels. I just want to see it.
Okay.
So now we're going to head back to our presentation here. And from our demo here, we're going to go turn it over to Nick here. Do we have, is anybody awake?
What I'd like to do is check to see if anyone's awake. Now that you guys have an idea of how segmentation can really create that clear picture into your inventory, I'd like to pose a question to all of you. How clear is your inventory picture? So is it crystal clear? You got what you want. You know exactly how much is selling, how much you need to order. You know what's going on in your warehouses, and you have it drilled in. Or you would like to see or have the ability to drill down, so that way you can have that more crystal clear picture. And then you have no idea, and it's about as clear as mud. I tried to make it as clear as milk. Nobody in the office seemed to like that. For some reason, Chris thought you could still see through milk, so I don't know what kind of milk he's drinking over there. But
2%, 2%.
whole milk then. Looks like, thank you everybody for your votes. It looks like the majority of you, about 90% of you, are saying you would love the ability to drill down. So hopefully by seeing how segmentation can help you with that, it'll help give you a little bit more of a clear picture. If you need help with that, we're more than willing to step in. So I'm going to close this up. Again, thank you everybody for your votes, and right back at you, Chris.
All right, so again, one of the things that really, when you operate in one warehouse, everything is clear. You can walk down there, you can see everything. Again, once we go into actually having more than one warehouse, even if it's across the street like some of our customers have, or in the next building, it still makes it one more level of complexity. So one of the things that we're going to look at here is really the challenges of multiple warehouses. First part is obviously lack of visibility. You can't be in more than one place at one time. Disconnected systems, again, if you're using things like QuickBooks and or Fishbowl and something else, if you don't have a connector, or you're waiting for a daily dump of data, or you're using a 3PL or something, then again, you're not going to have that visibility and you have that disconnect. So it produces a lag. And again, it produces a lack of reporting, because in a lot of cases, if all the data isn't in one place, you're having to constantly do VLOOKUPs or worse, VB type stuff, and tie all your spreadsheets and things together. And that leads to obviously a lack of reporting, and in a lot of cases, things like having to remember multiple logins and having about 1 million windows open, which in my world I usually have, but I was told I'm not allowed to for this particular presentation, so had to clean things up a bit. What this also does is produces lots of havoc and lack of any kind of understanding for anybody when things like shipping delays come in. A really good example of this is literally what is happening right now in the West Coast. This is a picture here off the port over in LA and Long Beach here. It's a port that brings in 40% of the imports to the US. And well, this is what it looks like. It looks like a massive ship parking lot, which...
Yeah, I think the count is somewhere around 65 to 70 ships right now. It's kind of crazy.
And you've definitely got people out here trying to take nice pictures on the beach, and there's a cargo ship in the background. People are not really sure what to do. And sometimes it makes it hard for the sailboats to weave in and out of there. So we're gonna do what we can to help you get the information while they figure out how to get the port there. By now implementing our NetSuite ecosystem, what this allows us to do is have increased visibility. It allows us to have real-time info, and it allows us to just create a nice symbiotic ecosystem where everything can go around and really work in one particular area. And then also what it provides us with is the ability to have flexible reporting and dashboards. One of the things we're going to look at here is just a very simple dashboard that we can see here. And we're going to see a dashboard here of our warehouse manager. And our warehouse manager here is going to have visibility into things like orders coming in, going out, number of fulfillments, orders to ship, orders to pack. And again, these are very specific to and kind of targeted towards certain roles, this being the warehouse. If you are going to have somebody in a CEO position, you're going to have somebody with a lot more visibility into AR or payables, overall business outlook, not just the sales. But we can end up having multiple dashboards for that.
Yeah, and it really gives the person with a specific role, they can just log in NetSuite and right out the gate, boom, they see exactly what they need to do for that day.
And then one of the things that Nick really likes to do, Nick likes to customize things.
I do like customizations.
Other systems, you're really not allowed to, but here we can do things like if somebody prefers seeing this first, or here's their shortcuts, we can bring them in, we can move them around, or even if you just want to see something, sometimes, but not always, we can see them and we can say, hey, this is the first thing I want to see every day. Why are my shipping costs so high? And then we revert back to our little picture here and say, hey, this is why shipping costs are so high. So one of the other things that we'll see here from these dashboards is the fact that any report that we want to add, like if we wanted to add an inbound shipping report that we'll kind of look at later, we can add that here for anybody that we want. And then again, this is something really silly, but this is one of the things that drives some people crazy. I hate looking at a blue screen all day. So in general, I'm more of a red guy because I work at Fab and Fit. So I can come in here and do that, and all of a sudden my day just gets a little rosier because I'm not staring at my standard blue screen. Or if you're me, I like to be able to know which role I'm in, and it helps me manage that. It's kind of a silly little tip and trick, but at the same time, some people just, walking in and not seeing blue is a big thing. One of our customers that we look at, this is a funny thing, but the guy has literally blue everything on his desk. Every pen, every color, everything is blue. So, but it was a certain shade. So when I showed him he could move into that turquoise shade, this guy was like, he's the biggest NetSuite proponent we've ever seen. He's our biggest champion there at that particular company. So kind of silly, but at the same time, it really makes a difference for people. So we'll do that. One of the things that we're going to look at next is really the other advantages here. Again, this is one application, one login, all your info is really brought in there. When we do things like shipping delays, we'll be able to look at our actual inbound shipments there. We've been, in some cases, been able to help customers do things like eliminate a separate shipping container tracking software that they had or whatnot. Here we have integrated menus and logins, and again, in real time. So one of the tools that we're going to look at that we have here is really our current inventory snapshot. This is a tool that we utilize in a lot of cases here, and I'm going to come back to my screen here, and because I changed rules, it's going to do that. And we're going to bring up our current inventory snapshot, which I have hiding down here for you. And again, the cost of being a little too prepared. Here we go. So now we're going to be looking at our current inventory snapshot, which is going to show up in a second. It's a big report. But what it allows us to do is look across all our locations, and we'll be able to see our inventory levels here. And what this allows us to do is come over and actually see everything. Now, one of the things that we look at is, I might not want to see, let's say, everything at once. And I might want to have a little more visibility into just certain things. Like, as an example, I may want to see everything that we have that is pink, because as an example, we're on the cusp here of October, which a lot of is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we know that pink things sell. As silly as that sounds to some, it's a business strategy, and we have to do it sometimes. So one of the things we can do is we can get away with this, and in addition to checking what we have, we can make sure that we have it. Obviously, since we're sitting here on September 29th, this is probably not a great day to be looking at this. We probably want to be looking at this maybe a month or two ago so that we can make sure that we have enough sitting here. But one of the things that we can do now is bring in our filters. And because we're bringing our filters, we can look at this and say, I want to bring in everything that is only pink on my report. And now that when I look at this, I can look at this and say, all right, what do I have? Again, these are our colors that qualify as pink, even though they might not necessarily be flat out pink. And we can look at all the items in across all our warehouses and bring that across. One of the other things that we can do, because I picked a pink item that we've sold a lot of, it's only out of one particular warehouse. Now, if I want to change this up, I can look at, again, all my other warehouses, all my other locations, and I can do something like take away my restriction for pink and then just look at the one location. So this really allows us to look at one location, multiple locations, all in real time, and look at things like incoming, outgoing, and or commitments. So again, I'll bring this up, and while it's, as soon as it thinks, we'll bring up the next one. So here I might want to just look at my New York store.
And you said you could look up the incoming ones, like as far as like the containers coming in?
Yeah, so part of what we'll look at is right now here we're seeing what we have on order and what's in stock, all of that here. But now what we can do is we can shift over to kind of our next screen that we look at, which is our container management, which is our inbound shipments. So what that allows us to do here, so as my mouse will cooperate, is what it allows us to do is create our inbound shipments. And inbound shipments allow us to track not only the status of, hey, it's in the port, it allows us to track where things are and how much is coming. So here we're going to create our new shipment. And what this allows us to do is put in things like our document number, which might be our BOL number. And we can put in things like our vessel. So this is going to be the Maersk really big ship. And then again, our BOL number. And again, with what's going on at the port, we can see here our actual shipping date may have been August 9th. Our expected delivery date was September 10th, but with the delays, we can say our actual delivery date, since it just got offloaded, might actually be now October 10th or 6th. And what we would do here, we just add our PO lines. So we bring our vendor up. Bring this up. We pick our PO. And then what this does is it brings in our items that we're bringing in, and we can add them. This is coming into our 3PL warehouse. Again, this is another one of those situations where you want to see everything. It's bringing in our amber tank, and it's bringing in our quantity expected. Now, if we happen to know that they didn't make their quota, and instead of being 10, it's now 5, we can add that, and then we can save this.
And then by putting it in the system here, I mean, it really gives not only purchasing or the warehouse, but even salespeople the knowledge of like, okay, we know something's coming in. We know we don't have an inventory right now, but we know when it should be here.
Yep, and what we can do here is we can look at our container stuff, and this is obviously useful even from a perspective of a warehouse manager. One of the things that we can do here, because again, we want a little more information on our report, again, highly customizable. We can bring in our vessel number, our BOL number, our bill of lading, and then we can also bring in, again, our dates, actual delivery date and actual shipping date, just so we can see this stuff. And as soon as we add that, this all shows up and it's all across our screen. And this can be seen by multiple people. This can be turned into a report. We can report on the individual lines if we need to, all that kind of stuff. So we will head back to our screen here. And again, Nick, do we have any questions?
No questions as of yet, except for the one I'm going to ask everybody. Another poll.
There we go.
And it is in regards to a WMS. Wanted to see what everybody is using for their warehouse management system. Are you using NetSuite? Are you using RF Smart? Are you just using Clipboard? Someone's down there just doing little checkboxes, or you're not sure. You don't even know where your warehouse is. So I would love to get your feedback on that to see if there's room for improvement or if you're liking what you're already using. So we got some votes coming in. We got one person who said, not sure, where's my warehouse? We do have quite a few people saying they're using clipboards at this moment. And then a couple of people saying RF Smart. So we are an RF Smart partner as well. So when we're working with clients and customers and they want to step into that WMS realm, we really analyze whether NetSuite's WMS works best, RF Smarts work best, or any others, and see which one is a good fit. All right, I am going to close this up. Again, thank you everybody for your feedback. It is much appreciated.
All right, so what we're going to look at here is really the industry challenges. Obviously, the clipboards are tough. That's a big one here. But really what this is, you know, as we're bringing our WMS and what it's allowing us to use, it's allowing us to do things like receive orders, pick orders, things like that. Again, a lot of people struggle because, again, it's not all in one system, or it's not integrated, or it's in a 3PL and it doesn't come across. Again, where we can bring this into play with WMS, it allows us to manage our inventory, allows us to manage bins, allows us to be more efficient because we don't have to know where something is. The system will do it for us. So for example, you don't have to have, hey, where did Steve put this? Well, the system will always know. This also allows us to be more targeted when we're picking employees. We can go in, we can actually hire skilled employees who can pick, pack, and ship, and they don't necessarily have to know where everything is, again, because the system will tell them. So this will allow us to do that. And again, with doing things like targeted cycle counts through our WMS, we can go in and do that. So again, when we do this, we can come into our system, and one of the things that you'll see is we'll have an RF Smart logo right here. We can go into the client, which is here, and it'll allow us to come in and actually go right into this without ever leaving it. This allows us to have a desktop version of this, but it allows us also to use handheld scanners through Wi-Fi in the warehouse. So one of the things that it allows us to very quickly do is we can pick a sales order. And when we pick a sales order for our #1 customer, Nick, who you can come in here.
Give me those wine glasses.
It's funny you should say that because
I gotta relax. It's part of my wellness program.
Yep, exactly. So not only is this going to tell us to pick this, it's going to tell us where to go. And just because I don't have my scanner, I'm going to copy and paste this. I'm going to confirm that I'm going to this bin, and it's telling me I need to pick one. I can come in here and pick one, and then I can see that I picked my green item. Now I need to go in here and pick my other item and come in here, grab that guy, go to that bin. It also provides me with a list of other bins if I need to go there. And then here, again, I'm picking one. And as soon as I do this, I can go ahead and submit. And what's going to happen is I can now go into NetSuite and this order will be picked. And I can now go in and either ship it, and we can either use one of our shipping vendors like ShipHawk or ShipStation or anybody else you have, but really we can take it from there. Now the other thing that happens is, because again, Nick is our #1 buyer here, what he's done is he's made it so that we need to order more. So now we're going to make sure that next time Nick breaks a couple wine glasses, we're going to come in here and be able to receive the replacement.
I got big hands, so when I wash the insides, they just shatter all over the place. I'm clumsy. What can I say?
Nick likes to work out along with his kettlebells and mixes wine glasses, so it makes a big problem here. So what's going to happen here, we're going to be able to receive our 1,000 wine glasses just for Nick, and then go ahead and we receive it, and it's going to allow us to put it into our location. Now, again, we can pick it into our LA warehouse, and we are done, and we submit. And again, it allows us to do things like print labels and all that kind of stuff. Now we can go into further kind of things that we can do through here, but basically what these allow us to do is this allows us to do anything that we would do within NetSuite, but allows us to do it on a mobile handheld. And also this is really useful, obviously, you know, when trying to go down and count things, instead of counting things on that clipboard, then having to come into the office, have, you know, Steve or anybody else go in and count that and then enter it in, and then it takes time, there's a loss. What ends up happening is we can go in and we can count those bins, and we can count those items and make sure that we have what we have, and then right away through here do either a directed count or a dynamic count, and just say, hey, we're out of these. So
that just makes it a lot more efficient, a lot more automatic, and real time. I mean, honestly, it just saves a lot of time. So WMS system that is, other than a clipboard, is much needed if you are looking to really grow and expand.
And really, we're trying to touch on a lot of this stuff in the one quick session, but at the end of the day, you know, any questions you have or any of this kind of stuff, or you might be really using that clipboard you have right now to write down some of this information or some of these questions, this is where we go back to Nick so he can tell you about really making the right choice.
So if you want to get to that next slide. Cool. Yeah, before we get all the way done with this, I did want to throw a shout out, as we do have a BI team over here. And while NetSuite has some great reporting features, if you do have external sources of data, or you wanted to really dive deeper into business intelligence in general, we've actually developed what we call Bold Suite Analytics, and it is a connector for Power BI and NetSuite. So that way you can have all your data into one source and really gain the most visibility within your organization. So wanted to make that available to you guys if you were interested in a little bit more BI. So next slide, please. So as far as questions are concerned, I don't see any coming in right now, but I'll keep monitoring that as we move on to the next slide. And yeah, so next steps, hopefully you guys saw some value in what we've presented today, and hopefully saw that you're either doing the right things and you've confirmed what you're doing, or you saw some places where you can make some improvements to your processes, and we would love to help you on that journey as well. So feel free to reach out to us, and we'd love to talk. We can even do kind of a free diagnosis on your business processes, as well as your different solutions and systems, to make sure they are efficient and they are working for you. And beyond that, we can even set up a workshop. So if you have NetSuite, looking into NetSuite, have something else, and maybe NetSuite piques some interest there, we can set up a little workshop, understand what your business processes are, showcase it how it would actually work within NetSuite, and give you a better idea of whether NetSuite is a right fit, or whether this improvement within NetSuite is a good move for you. And then, yeah, we can also look at some maybe third-party integrations like, you know, ShipHawk or RSmart, to help make your businesses more efficient. If you go to the next slide, I think that's got our contact information. Yes, it does. But outside that, we will send out the recording. So if you did want to review it again or send it to some colleagues, you're more than welcome to. Again, you can reach out to us. If you did want to set up some sort of workshop or just kind of a diagnosis on your system. And then again, thank you for sticking around. We do have a poll after this that we would love for you to fill out, so that way we can get some feedback as far as how we've done, as well as the content we've presented. This helps us create better content in the future. So any feedback there is greatly appreciated. Otherwise, that kind of wraps things up. We, again, do appreciate your time today and look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Thank you very, very much, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.